Today we're going to talk about the history of the State Historical Society. In fact, we started as the Ladies Historical Society in 1889. They were a grassroots organization and we are the results. So everything that we have here has come from their efforts. A lot of the very early settlers in Bismarck especially would have been involved with this group in some way. And what they wanted to preserve were the documentary items of the state, so the written paper items, early documents pertaining to the history of Bismarck and to the history of the state. So written reminiscences, even just like lists of settlers and pioneers who were coming into the area, who lived where, things like that. So really, it was very important to be thinking about that right at the creation of statehood. Linda Slaughter was really instrumental in establishing the Ladies Historical Society. You can see her interest in history through her writings about early Bismarck. Her book, Fortress to Farm, is a wonderful example of this, and you can really see her passion for history throughout her collection. We have the Articles of Incorporation of the Ladies Historical Society in Linda Slaughter's collection. The object of this association shall be to promote friendship and goodwill among the early settlers of Bismarck and North Dakota and to preserve the records. Here's the first board of directors: Linda Slaughter, Lucy Bailey, Charlotte Davis, Phoebe March, and Alice O'Brien. And many of those women who were involved very early on continued to be involved after it became a state agency. The first report of the State Historical Society listed out members at that point in time. You can see that Linda Slaughter and some other women are listed as honorary members. So what we basically have as far as the official papers from this very early club are just what we have in Linda Slaughter's collection, this one folder. Newspapers would record some of those meetings and some of the documents that they were keeping. In about 1895, the ladies who formed that initial group realized that they needed space and time and funding and the ability for people to come and view the things that they were keeping and preserving that were so important historically. So they handed it over to the state to make it into something that could be cared for basically by the people of North Dakota. And it took a few years and some reorganization and some legislation. So around 1903 to 1905, we were off and running. Even today, we like to remind people that every day is history, including today, and everything that is happening around us is something that people will be interested in tomorrow. We now, as an archives, would always have documentation of collections coming to us. What really started the State Historical Society were those paper documents that are archives collections, which is pretty cool. Today, we try to make sure we have all of that documentation for ourselves as well, because that history doesn't just affect us, it affects everybody.